I strongly believe that it is time to panic on the names in today's video. You can hit the big red button. You can abort. It's a fat GG's. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. There's only one player in this entire list that I think has life in Dynasty football still. Let's start off with the first name here. I hate to do this because y'all know I love this player coming out of Clemson, but I think it's over for Travis Etienne. I really think... I think we are nearing dead asset territory. Okay, let's be 100% real and transparent here. Etienne was truly awful last year. Like the definition of awful, Travis Etienne in 2024. Okay, there were 46 running backs in the league last year with 100 rushing attempts. 46 running backs with 100 rushing attempts. Here's where he ranked in some major categories. His PFF run grade was 43rd out of 46. His yards per attempt was 40th. His yard to contact per attempt, 43rd. Missed tackles force, 44th. Breakaway percentage, 33rd. And elusive rating, 44th. I mean, the man was truly awful in pretty much every major efficiency number we're looking at for the running back position. He had just 8.7 PPR points per game. His only good season happened in 2023 with 16.6 points per game. He still lacked efficiency that year, but he finished top 4 in total touches per game, 267 attempts, just 3.8 yards per carry. I just don't know how long this can really last. And new year, new backfield. I mean, of course, Travis Etienne's there. We know Tank Bigsby. Bashul Tutin joins the squad here, but I love me some Bashul Tutin, all right? Early round 4 selections to the Jags, pick 104. Ranked 3rd on our Lemons to Lemonade team because the man is constantly doing more with less. My pro comparison for him, James Cook. My floor, Jaylen Warren. I think he's going to be a great NFL player. And I know, the internet is telling you right now, in May, the month of May, that Bashul Tutin's career is over. And they're telling you that because Liam Cohen talks about a fumble that he had in camp. Take a breath. For the love, my goodness, the Dynasty community would be so much better off without the X app downloaded. Just delete Twitter for the love of God. And even if Tutin isn't involved, guys, it feels like Bigsby has the massive upper hand based off his play in 2024. Let's compare 2024 Travis Etienne to 2024 Tank Bigsby. You can see Bigsby led the team in rushing attempts, but had a far better PFF grade. His yards per attempt was almost a full yard higher. His yards to contact per attempt, miles higher. Missed tackles force, we're talking 17 to 46. Breakaway percentage was higher. Elusive rating was higher. In every major category we're looking at for efficiency and explosiveness, Tank Bigsby was a better running back by far. And it's a whole new coaching staff. There are no loyalties. I mean, Liam Cohen has already shown us that he's willing to replace the veteran starter with a younger rookie. We've already seen him do that. Last year as an offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Bucks, Rachaad White was coming off a season with 336 touches in 2023, but low efficiency, and Rachaad White lost his job each and every week of the 2024 season. We'll talk about him more in a second. I hate to say it, but I think it's over for Travis Etienne. I mean, similar to how we viewed Miles Sanders after his first Panther season. Is that crazy to say? It pains me. It really does. All right, the second player we're going to talk about here, not going to be popular, but we need to talk about it. Is it time to panic on Tyrone Tracy? I want you to keep in mind that Tyrone was a my guy for me in our rookie report last year. He was one of my guys. I loved him. I was drafting him everywhere in round 4 of rookie drafts. He ended up being a nice late round hit. However, we have to recognize that he had a replaceable season as a rookie. Again, it was a good outcome given where the Giants drafted him, but if you look at 46 running backs with at least 100 attempts last year, he ranked 43rd in PFF rushing grade, 19th in yards per attempt, which was decent. Yards after contact was right middle of the pack. Missed tackles force, middle of the pack. Had a good breakaway percentage. Middle of the pack elusive rating. I mean, he's, like, don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not claiming he will absolutely be replaced, but let's also not pretend that he's completely irreplaceable either. And let's be honest, the biggest problem with Tyrone Tracy and the New York Giants is he didn't help himself at all with the ball security issues last year. He was tied for the 3rd most fumbles in the league and the only running back who was top 6 in fumbles that had less than 200 rushing attempts. So he wasn't even trusted with the same amount of work as the other guys in this list, yet he still fumbled similar to a Kyren Williams, a James Conner. I mean, Kyren Williams has over 115 more touches than Tyrone, and Tyrone still had 5 fumbles tying him. And this team just added another my guy for myself in the 2025 draft, Mr. Cam Skattebo. I absolutely think that Cam can carry the ball 15 plus times for the Giants this year. Early round 4 selection, pick 105 right after Bashul Tutin. Ranked second in our limits to lemonade team. My pro comps for him, David Montgomery, Javonte Williams, a guy that can just break tackles and make some lemonade out of them lemons. And I know our community does not believe in Cam the way I do. I mean, people keep calling him a fullback in our comment section. Like, I'm seeing it. It's okay. But I respectfully disagree. I would not be shocked at all if he ended up leading the Giants in carries as a rookie. He certainly showed Arizona State that he can handle a large workload. He had about 50% of their rushing share, 61% of the team's rushing yards, and 70% of the team's rushing touchdowns. He was a dominant producer for Arizona State last year. It kind of reminds me of the way that Chase Brown dominated the Illinois backfield back in 2022. Again, I'm not claiming that Tyrone's going to be useless moving forward, but I would confidently say that his upside is heavily slashed after the Cam Scatterboo pick. All right, the next player. This is quite literally the only player on the list that I'm truly not panicking about, okay? However, Zay Flowers, I do think we need to redefine our expectations of what he can be for your dynasty roster. Through 2 years of his NFL career, his fantasy impact has been the definition of mid. No matter who you are, I think we can agree that. He's been a consistent wide receiver 3 scorer, not a single top 30 point per game season. And it doesn't help that the Ravens offense was elite in both of these seasons, with Zay having a middling role for the team, right? They were 3rd in points per game in 24, 4th in points per game in 2023. They were a top 5 offense in both of his seasons in the NFL. I mean, Zay is an incredibly talented receiver, but he's stuck in an offense in Baltimore that doesn't feature wide receivers. They barely need to throw the ball. They spent the last 2 years being second to last in passing attempts per game. The year before that, they were 28th, so bottom 5 again in passing attempts per game. This offense is elite. They don't need to throw the ball. It's just difficult to see a future with Zay Flowers, but what we did is we went ahead and we tried to find wide receivers who had a similar start to their career historically. So for the sample size, we looked up first-round wide receivers who averaged around 11 to 13 points per game, just like Zay Flowers, and we pulled that data from the last 25 years. And the question we asked ourselves is, did they ever make a true impact on a fantasy roster? We're talking 15 plus point per game season. That is not a big ask, right? We had 6 wide receivers that were the closest, mirror to Zay Flowers' start of his career. Again, it's not perfect, but it could show us what Zay's potential outcome could be in his career. Okay, so the names that hit, we're talking Plexico Burress, Demaryius Thomas. Not really the same build as Zay Flowers. The names that didn't hit, we're talking Corey Davis, Mark Clayton, Michael Floyd, and Hollywood Brown. It is difficult to see Hollywood Brown on this list, obviously because of his history with the Baltimore Ravens, but 2 out of 6 went on to have 15 plus point per game seasons. The vast majority, 67%, never really made a huge impact on your lineup. And even though he's a talented receiver, he's stuck in a shit situation. Excuse my French, I know, family friendly. And this team just brought in DeAndre Hopkins. So D-Hop is nowhere near what he used to be, but it makes a target share even more muddy. I just don't see like a true ceiling with a player like Zay Flowers. Draft with me every night this offseason on the FastDraft app, where there are over $250,000 in prizes waiting to be won. Getting started is easy. Download the FastDraft app, use the promo code LAND at signup to get your deposit match up to $50. That is 10 free drafts on us. And when you finish your first real money contest, I'll send you my 2025 rookie report and season rankings completely free. Check out the link in the pinned comment to start drafting today. All right, the next player we'll talk about here, Rachaad White. Full transparency, I very strongly believe this is a dead asset walking. Does that make him a fantasy ghost? I don't know, but Rachaad lost his job pretty much week by week in the 2024 season. And sure, like, oh, he still had a role. Yeah, okay, sure. He had a role as a clear RB2. Okay, look. All right, so weeks 1 to 11, Rachaad White still in control, the clear most utilized running back. But after the bye week, which is where we see a ton of teams make a change to rookies, get them more involved, from week 12 onwards, wasn't even close. I mean, it was clearly Bucky Irving's job. And if you look at that kind of span from week 12 onwards, Rachaad White had a lower utilization rate than Travis Etienne, who the Jags didn't trust in Jacksonville, then Tyler Warren, who was an RB2 behind Najee Harris, then Alexander Mattison, who was at times the RB1 for the Las Vegas Raiders. He was a glorified 3rd down running back from week 12 onwards. I mean, look, from weeks 1 to 11 versus weeks 12 onwards, we're talking the snap percentage goes down about 13, 14%. The rushing attempt share goes way down, and even the route participation goes down. Then if you look at the last 2 games of the season, must-win games, you'll see, again, I've used this many times, shout out to Matthew Betts, but Bucky Irving just dominated opportunities. I mean, if you look at the average touch per game in the last 2 games of the Bucks season, must-win games to get to the playoffs and to win in the playoffs, Bucky averages 21.5 touches per game, Rashad 1.5. I mean, Bucky completely changed this rushing attack. There is no reason to go in reverse. This team had the largest single season increase in team rushing yards in the Super Bowl era. From 2023, when Rachaad White was the lead back, to 2024, massive increase in total yards and yards per carry, doubled their touchdowns. I mean, let's be real. Bucky was a godsend for the Tampa Bay Bucks. And remember, we have already seen Rashad's efficiency with starter volume. That was back in 2023. He had 272 attempts. He only averaged 3.6 yards per carry. I mean, yes, he was good for fantasy, but there is literally no evidence that they would ever consider going back to Rachaad White as the lead back because he could never be efficient like Bucky Irving could. I'm sorry, he's a glorified third down running back. If you don't believe me, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. All right, the 5th player here, or whatever number we're on, Xavier Legette. It's over, man. I'm sorry, it's over. I know we're only 1 year past this first round pick, okay? But outside of his round 1 status, genuinely, what the hell are we holding on to if you still believe in Xavier Legette? Let's look at the 9 closest rookie seasons to his in the past 25 years. We're looking at round 1 wide receiver who averaged 2.6 to 3.8 receptions per game, who averaged less than 10 fantasy points per game and had less than 40 receiving yards per game. You ready? Here is the list we are looking at. Peter Warrick in 2000, Tavon Austin, JSN, Mark Clayton, Travis Taylor, Michael Ford, Jalen Reagor, Corey Davis, Dennis Northcutt, and Xavier Legette. So how many of those guys ever averaged over 10 points per game in their entire career for fantasy football? Right now, it's just one, and that's Jackson Smith-Njigba. In his career, still young, he is the only promising name in this entire list. 90% of these players did not average over 10 points per game for their fantasy career. Some of them put together good seasons. None of them had consistency. And this team just drafted Ted McMillan, top 10. He should instantly be their wide receiver 1. Adam Thielen is still there. Jimmy Horn is showing up in camp and doing good things. Jalen Coker looks great out of the slot, and he actually complements a little bit more Ted McMillan than Xavier Legette would, in my opinion. Maybe Legette can be a big slot, but the reality is we don't even know if Bryce Young can support 1 fantasy wide receiver, let alone now you're asking maybe the wide receiver 2 or 3 or 4 on the team. I don't see a future for Xavier Legette. Sell him for literally any third that you can get. All right, how about Ramondre Stevenson? It's over. It's more than over, ladies and gentlemen. Anytime you are in a battle with Antonio Gibson for the starting job, your career is probably over. I've been saying this all last year when he was struggling, and we encouraged you to sell him the year before when he got the contract extension. The question is, well, was he at least effective in 2024? If you look at, again, 46 running backs with 100 attempts last year, he was 33rd in PFF grade, 36 in yards per attempt, 30th in yards to contact per attempt. He did force a good amount of missed tackles. His breakaway percentage was bottom 3rd. His elusive rating was about middle of the pack. Overall, extremely replaceable. And the fumbling was a huge problem for Ramondre Stevenson. He led all running backs in the category with 7, which actually forced the Pats to start Antonio Gibson about 3 times last year. And the elephant in the room is TreVeyon Henderson, who, by the way, had 1 career fumble and 666 career touches, and it came during his freshman year. So all the volumes that he saw as a sophomore, as a junior, as a senior, he didn't fumble the ball 1 time. And we have a new coaching staff that has no loyalty to Ramondre Stevenson. New head coach in Mike Vrabel. New offense coordinator, kind of, in Josh McDaniels. And there's a new running back coach in Tony Dews. TreVeyon Henderson is likely going to take all of the receiving work, including design screens, third downs, 2-minute drives. It is his superpower. It makes no sense to keep him off the field. And he is one of the best pass protecting running backs coming out of the draft anyway. And it's a terrible sign for Stevenson because his 1 top 12 point per game season in 2022 was accompanied by a huge amount of receiving work where he had 69 receptions. I'm sorry, it's all but over for Ramondre. All right, how about Jakobi Meyers? Let's talk about Jakobi Meyers. He was a great flex in 2024, over 14 4.5 points per game, but a big part of his fantasy production came with zero competition. Of course, Brock Bowers was there, but from week 4 onwards, there was no Devontae Adams in Las Vegas, and he was the clear wide receiver 1. I mean, he had a higher utilization rate in that span than Garrett Wilson, Terry McLaurin, and A.J. Brown. But now, Jack Bech onto the scene. He is going to contribute to this offense, I believe, as a rookie. That's just a call from me based off my pre-draft scouting. I love me some Jack Bech. He's a round 2 pick, so they clearly care about him. Reliable hands, they're going to need that. A great blocker, they're going to need that. And you know Pete Carroll wants to see it. Big body with route running chops. He's a glue guy. I compare his play style to a little Puka Nacua, Robert Woods. That is a player that Pete Carroll's going to fall in love with from day one. And of course, that doesn't mean that Jacoby Myers will be irrelevant. It just means he's not going to have the same utilization rate as he did in 2024 with this depth chart now. And the reality is he's probably not going to be as flexible as he once was. All right, the last guy is the most cooked of a possible cooked players you can get. I mean, does anybody have a mom out there that, bless her heart, does the best that she can, raised you right, but she just ends up, burning dinner every once in a while? Does anybody have that? I mean, that was my mom at times. Shout out to you, Mom. I love you. Okay. You're alive. I don't know why I did that. Okay, sorry. But Cole Kmet is gone. All right, Cole Kmet is dead in the ground, buried. His best season, he averaged 10.7 points per game. That was in 2023. And that year, he was only competing with targets with DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney. Now, in 2025, he has to compete with targets with an arsenal of weapons, including DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden. Oh, and by the way, a first-round tight end, top 15 pick in Colston Loveland. He will be lucky to get 40 targets in this offense. This is basically Dawson Knox for fantasy football now, okay? It's completely over. Here are some honorable mentions that I am concerned about, that it might be time to panic. Names like Anthony Richardson with Daniel Jones there. Sam Darnold, what does the future look like with his contract in Jalen Milroe? Najee Harris, nothing but really a reliever back at this point. Javonte Williams, the writing's on the wall at some point. Michael Pittman with Tyler Warren coming into town. And the last players, I would say it's actually RIP to them. Names like Jalen Polk, who's not even like top 4 in the depth chart. Jermaine Burton, who had so many off-field issues last year, it's not even funny. For those guys, it is truly over, like completely over for them. So I appreciate you guys watching the video. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video to show some love, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. But I quickly want to let you know that I am drafting pretty much every night on the Origins draft. You can come draft with me, use the promo code LAND. We'll match your deposit up to $50. That is 10 free entries to the Origins tourney. When you do that, I'll send you my rookie rankings, my 2025 cheat sheet. You can see me jumping into some drafts here. I would love to have you join me. But that is it for today. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Nothing but love. If you're thinking about supporting us in this economy, that's big love, and you deserve love in return. So for every yearly Mother Flocker member who uses the promo code LAND, we're giving out a free team playbook, our 2025 rookie report, access to all premium tools, free site vouchers, and of course, a huge thank you from the LAND crew. You're far too kind. That's love.